someone staggering down the street, and here it is, someone who doesn't know, quite frankly, what day it is. Is it their fault? I tell my people, none of those people woke up one morning and said, I want to be held. It's an unfortunate incident that happened. So let me just start with on the body cam issue. Our association, 20,000 members of its executive board, are not opposed to body cameras. But I think body cameras and the people who support body cameras can't make this a gotcha. When they talk about offended, I'm a little offended when they say that someone should write a report before looking at the video. Again, my experience, I've been involved in an officer-involved shooting, where I can tell you things either move very fast or very slow. My personal experience is I could almost see that bullet come from the gun and the poof on that pistol shoot, and still coming at us on a veranda, no wider than this, with a 14-foot knife, a 14-inch knife. And what the thoughts that go through your head. Very, very slow. I can tell you, the shots did not stop. They continued to come. So we talk about someone writing a report. If you ask me to focus, I probably have more vivid recollection today than I had 10 seconds after the incident. It is the most traumatic experience that any human being can have, whether in the military or taking another human being's life. And I think to be held to this sort of gotcha standard is unfair. I would submit that when we talk about cameras and the use of deadly force and the use of force, they are two separate entities. From a community, which might be way back, but we were one of the first communities to implement tasers. You talk about the evolution of policing. When I came on, nightsticks were the norm. The hand-to-hand combat was a daily occurrence. I can tell you that does not happen today. The first time the taser comes, first of all, the person knows that, and there's immediate cooperation. Is the greatest tool. So before we spend money, I think we should equip every officer in this Commonwealth with a taser. That would save lives of people that have knives and things where deadly force becomes the only alternative. In some cases, this is an alternative. Those things would eliminate those sorts of things. Now, when it comes to police abuse and wrongdoing, anybody who's with the assault and been in this business is in a law enforcement profession, doesn't condone, doesn't lie for, or doesn't appreciate having to put up with the aftermath when one of their brothers or sisters does something illegally or wrongful. That's not what we represent. That's not why we took this job. We took the job to try and do the right thing. And I would suggest that to those folks, we are happy to engage in conversation. I think we all want to get to the same place. We want people to have confidence in law enforcement. And law enforcement, quite frankly, be accountable. And all these bills, though, I don't see one thing. I'd like to see that there be a crime also associated for making a false accusation against the police. So in fact, when that video evidence reveals that that isn't what happened, that person has to be held accountable also. Because these videos will be used, maybe not also criminally, but also as members of this family, administratively. Those things have to be. What will happen? Maybe they didn't break the law, but maybe there's a policy. What happens in those cases? How will those things be? So it is a tricky thing that again, I like to say, when we make legislation in response to incident, we generally craft it too hastily, and then it takes us 3 weeks to write it and 30 years to fix it. So I'm hoping that we can look at this.
For a long time, you know.
I mean, I think that you people have shown today, again, a great amount, and I think you have the ability to facilitate a meeting amongst the groups as we had before, and trying to find some common ground that maybe we can take steps forward to do this. Because as some of the studies illustrate, the police are as much for this as the public, but they need to have some certainty that this won't be certainly just a tool for discipline and prosecution, because no one wants to be wrongfully prosecuted. And sometimes even the innocent, the trial and tribulation that you go through during all those things, they're more troubling and more time-consuming than the actual offense itself. So I think we need to use caution. Again, as the largest police, but we are not against body cameras. We look forward to working with them. And I think that we can all arrive at a place that everybody can be proud of. But when it comes to appropriation, I would tell you, I think that $700 taser would be a much better appropriation, saving lives in this Commonwealth, than trying to spend 80 or 90 million in body cams. They've done a great thing in my city. They've saved many lives. And instances now where less than lethal force was able to be used and protect life and property. Thank you.
Jimmy, thank you for your thoughts, your kind words, your experience, and the suggestion that helped be part of that. And I'm sure the committee members will be facilitating the conversation between the stakeholders in this. I agree with you, and I can't see myself being supportive of forcing an officer prior to viewing the video to write the report. It's just, there's so many constraints on police officers.
I can't imagine my own experience how that is. It's kind of that there are things that, you know, when someone would look at that and say it was an outright lie. When you're faced with the fight or flee syndrome, I mean, I think that there are sometimes you go and you need to relax and go from there.
Fortunately, we do have the city of Boston moving forward with their own resources to do a test program here, which will be on track, and they'll give us some subjective, objective data to look at. Realizing they're not represented to be accountable, but it's a start.
Just let me go in, when we first got the tasers, and now in the last few years, I want to allude to a Boston Globe front page story, which talked about the amount of times that Fall River Police Department had the highest use of tasers. And I submit to you that probably in 95% of them, they were an alternative to lethal force. So we can't let news stories and whatever dictate. In essence, that those use of those tasers were a positive effect, but yet we're twisted in the media sometimes to be a negative effect. So you know, when I hear the studies and I hear things, I go, well, let me present this thing at the school. Let me put that. And I'm a pragmatist. I'm somebody who, for whatever reason, stayed in the Uniform Patrol Division, was proud to stay there, got up one Saturday morning, took one test just so they'd say, how come you're still a patrolman? But other than that, I'm proud to be out there every day looking. And my attitude and my vision on law enforcement and criminal justice has changed. We can't just incarcerate ourselves. But we can't let those who are really bad actors hide under the guise of other disguises or whatever it is. So,
Representative?
Thank you. I always make a point of staying until the end. I have a 2 o'clock meeting upstairs. I don't want to disrespect you by leaving. I just want to say thank you to anybody else if I miss your testimony. I apologize. So thank you for the attention.
Thank you. Great work, Jay. Appreciate it.
this committee has a unique, I mean, you two are experienced legislators. You have people that have a law enforcement background. You have people from the court system and Representative Wire. You have activists and whatever. I think this committee, whether they know it or not, the Senate President and the Speaker should be commended because its makeup is truly what the Committee on Public Safety should be about. And I just thank you. You know, like I said, it was a great experience sitting here for 3 hours. Because as much as I come before you people, it was something to watch, and I want to tell you, I was proud of it.
Thank you very much. Great staff as well. Yeah, we do. We're very lucky.
Best.
So thanks, everybody. That pretty much does it. Is there a motion on the table? So moved. Second. All those in favor say aye. The ayes have it. And that's a wrap. Until the next